Hello and welcome to Drupal Overview workshop. Today we're going to talk about basics of Drupal, and we are also going to be doing a bit of hands-on. This workshop doesn't require any prior knowledge of coding. So if you're someone new starting with Drupal, or if you're someone who's already worked with Drupal before, you can always refer back to this video. So let's start with the agenda that we have for today. We're going to talk about what is Drupal, its key terminologies, different user roles that we have on Drupal, logging in an interface, design blocks, and under accessibility, we're going to talk about accessibility requirements. And in the hands-on section, we're going to cover content types, creating a page, media and links, design blocks, reviewing drafts, publishing drafts, and removing content. So let's get started with what Drupal is. Drupal is a content management system that allows for creating and managing web content while restricting access based on different user roles. And we here at MyCalStateLA use Drupal as our web host. Drupal has a graphical user interface using which you can create links, add images, add new paragraphs without actually having to code. It uses a Wysiwyg toolbar. Wysiwyg stands for what you see is what you get. And Drupal simplifies website management by handling web page creation and file management. What this means is that if you were to create an HTML page using a different editor, you would have to have the files and the folders and in a certain naming convention, and all the resources in that folder also to be in certain naming convention, which using Drupal you don't have to do that anymore. It automatically takes care of that. Moving on, let's look at the different key terminologies that we have on Drupal. So groups and user roles are the two keywords that you will come across a lot while using Drupal. So starting with groups, our website in Drupal is called a group, and each group contains members, menu, files, and pages. Coming to user roles, each member in a group has a role which defines their level of access to the group. So basically, we have a website which is called a group in Drupal, and in that group we have its members, and those members have a certain level of access to the group, which is called user roles. Now let's look at the different user roles that we have in Drupal. We have three user roles. The first is group editor, second is a group publisher, and finally the third one is group administrator. So let's look at group editor first. So any user under this role can create and edit content and save it as a new draft. But keep in mind that these drafts are not publicly available. Coming to group publisher, they have all the access that a group editor has. Additionally, they can publish drafts. And finally, a group administrator, any user under this user role has all the access that of a group publisher and a group editor. They can also make changes to the menus, manage the home page, edit the home page, and add and remove users from the group. Moving on, let's talk about a bit about accessibility. So, content editor is responsible for making content accessible, but we have a tool on Drupal called Editorially that helps you identify the issues on your page. But again, keep in mind that it is your job as a group editor to make sure all the content is accessible, and Editorially only helps you identify the issues, and you will have to manually go back and fix it on your page. So here is the link where you can find all the information about Editorially. Let me actually take you through the website. So this is how the page looks like, and here you will find all the information about it. So on Drupal, Editorially is enabled for all the users, and you will not have to do any additional steps to enable it. It's automatically enabled. And if you are logged into Drupal, as you can see, I am logged into Drupal over here, you will be able to see the tool in real time. For example, when you click on here on your bottom right screen, you will be able to see the tool icon. Once you click on it, it will tell you if there were any issues that were detected on your page. And as you can see here, it says 3 issues were detected. So if I click on first, it will take me exactly to where the issue was. So let's go ahead and do that. And over here it tells us what the issue is. That says requires a manual check, is opening a new window expected, and information about it. And it also gives us tips on how to solve it. So here you can see, and you can do the same thing for the different issues that were detected, and you can go back and edit it on your page. But keep in mind, you may not have access to it while you are editing the page, so you will have to save it as a draft or publish it to be able to see this tool. So jumping back to our presentation again. So there are a few things to keep in mind while creating content in Drupal. The first is alternative text. This is basically text that describes an image. For example, you have an image on your web page, and someone with a vision disability is trying to access your page using a screen reader. So the text that you'd be writing for that image, they will be able to comprehend the image without actually having to view it. And coming to color contrast, it talks about there being a color contrast between the text and the background so that it is easily readable. And next up we have link requirements. So whenever you are adding links to your page, you should make sure that it opens in the same page, not in a new tab. And this is so that anybody using a screen reader can easily understand the flow of the page, and to avoid any confusion for them, and they can simply go back and forth in the same tab. Next, we have table rows and columns. It says that table rows and column headers must be defined. This is so that, again, anybody using a screen reader can skip through the rows without actually having to go through each element of the data table. And we also have an accessibility workshop wherein we talk in detail about all of these accessibility requirements and the accessibility laws. So if you have time, please do check that out. Moving on. So this is where you would log into your Drupal account. The website URL is www.calstatela.edu/login, and you would use your CalStateLA user ID and password. So once you log in, you will be able to see the Drupal interface. Let's actually go ahead and do that. I will be clicking here on this link, which will take me to the login page. Once you're logged in, this is the page that you should be seeing. The first thing I want you to notice is the top left-hand corner of your screen. This is where you will find your username, and under here there are 2 buttons. The first is View Profile button, and next to it is the Logout button. The page that we're currently seeing is the View Profile page, and if I were to click on this button, it will bring you back to the same page that we are on. And if you click on the Logout button, you will be logged out of your Drupal account. And for the purpose of this video, we've created a demo account which is called trainer-publisher. This account has a publisher level access in order for me to demonstrate publishing a web page to you. And under the username here, we have how long you've been a member for. It says member for 9 years and 8 months. And under that, we have group membership. So this section is really important, and as I said earlier, a website on Drupal is called a group. So here you will find all the list of groups that you were added to, and since this is a demo account, we are just added to Drupal training group, and all the changes that would be making today would be under this group. So if you click on this button right here, this is the page that you would be seeing, which has 4 tabs: view, media, nodes, and moderated content. So let's quickly jump back to our presentation and see what each of those tabs are. So under View tab, it contains a link to the home page and other links, and only a group administrator can make changes to home page. So not even a group publisher has access to make changes to the web home page. Coming to media, It lists all the media for your site, that is the images and documents and videos that you've already uploaded. You can see all of them at a glance. And adding media is a two-step process. That means if you wanted to use an image, you would have to upload it first, and only then you'd be able to use that image. And you can add, then search and delete images and files and remote video links from here. And next to it would be the Note tab, which is from where you would make all of your web pages. You can create, edit, view, and save drafts. A user can choose from 4 different content types to create a draft. And next to it would be moderated content. From here, you'd be able to view and archive content from the group. Let's quickly go back to our web page. So as I mentioned, under View tab, you will have the link to your home page. Let's quickly open and see how this looks like. So this is the page that opened up. I'm going to close this tab. Yeah, this is the page that opens up. Since this is a demo account, we have nothing on this page, but this is how it looks like. And even as a publisher, I don't have access to make any changes to this page. I can only view it. And here are the social media links. I'm jumping back to our interface. So here you can see the link to the home page and the social media links. And let's go back to the media. And under here, at a glance, you will be able to see all the media that was already uploaded on your group. So you can see that here, and you can search for media as well by name, by type, and by status and by type. Let's say if you have any audio files, you can click on apply, and it'll show you. Since we don't have any audio files here, it doesn't show us anything. If I change that to images, you'll be able to see all the images that were uploaded. And over here you have a create media button, using which you can upload your media. And once you click on that, you have 3 options. The first is group media documents. So using this, you can upload any documents that you have, such as PDFs, Excel file, Word files, and so on. And under here we have remote video. That is, you can upload a video link which you want to use in your web page from here. And then finally we have group media image. So this is from where you would upload an image. Let's actually go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on this button and this page pops up. So from here it gives me an option to choose a file. So and then keep in mind that there are limitations to this. The allowed file types are PNG, GIF, JPG, and JPEG, and the limit is only 500 KBs. So I'm going to choose a file now, which is on my computer, and I'm going to select this one and click on open. And then as soon as I click on open, it asks me for alternative text. As described earlier, alternative text is basically a description of the image that you're uploading for somebody who's using a screen reader, so that they be able to comprehend the images without actually having to see them. So since this is an image of our ITS training lab, I'm gonna write the same. Let me actually type that out. Image of ITS training labs. And then under here you have revision information, which says briefly describe the changes that you have made. I'm just gonna type uploaded a copyright-free image. Of the ITS labs. And again, this section is only for you. It won't appear on the website. And under authoring information, it tells who the user was that uploaded this image and what time was the image was created. Once you click on save, you will have a status message over here that says the image has been created successfully. And from here you can simply go back to the home page and from here you can go back to the interface and check if your image was added or not. Again, at any point, if you want to go back to the view profile page, you can simply click here and it'll bring you back to the view profile page. right here. So from here, I'm going to click on Drupal training. I'm going to go to media, and I'm going to look for the image that I've just uploaded. So let's scroll all the way down, and here is the image that I just uploaded. Here you have your status and the publisher name, and from here you can delete the page, delete the image as well. I'm not going to do that. And let's look at the nodes tab. From here, at a glance, you'll be able to see all the pages that are added to your website. That is, for example, a test website that was added, accessibility demo, and so on and so forth. You can search for your web pages by title, if it was published or not, and if it was an article, if it was a home page, landing page, and so on. So from here, you can actually go ahead and choose from 4 different content types to create. I'm going to click on add new content, and then we have 4 options. So we have, at first we have group node article. You would choose this if you wanted to create an article to be displayed on your web page. Next to it we have a group node event. Let's say you have an event coming up and you want that to be displayed on your web page. You would go ahead and create an event from this tab here, this section here. And finally we have group node page. This is from where you would create a web page. And then finally we have group node web form. So let's say if you want to create a web form and collect responses, you would click on this and create a web form. And I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go to the moderated content section. And over here you will be able to see all the archived and drafts that are there on your websites. And you can search for them as well by typing in the title or the content type, or if it was draft or archived, and you can even filter by language. And as mentioned earlier, this is a publisher account for the purpose of this demo, and these tabs that you see here on interface can change for different user roles. For example, I have a administrator account, and let's see how that interface looks like. So I'm gonna open this over here. Here, as you can see, it says ITS Training 1. This is an administrator account, and we have additional tabs over here on the interface. So don't be worried if you are seeing lesser tabs, or if you are an administrator, you will have these tabs over here as well. Now let's get started with the hands-on section of our workshop. As you can see, I am logged in as trainer publisher. This is a publisher level account. And then all the changes that we'd be making today would be under Drupal training group, since this is the group that we are added to. And let's create a demo web page. So for me to do that, I'll be clicking on Drupal training and nodes. And from nodes, I'll click on add new content. And we have 4 different options to choose from. Since we're creating a web page, I'm going to click on group node page. And this is the page it brings us to. And under here, we have 3 different tabs. The first is main content. Next to it is design blocks. And then we have right sidebar. Let's talk about main content first. The first thing that you notice is the title. So this would be the title of your web page. Let's go ahead and give that. I'm going to call it workshop demo. And then in the body section, we have this toolbar, which looks very similar to the Microsoft Word toolbar that we use. So from here, you can bold your text, italicize it, left align, center align, right align. You can add bullet points, numbered bullet points, and so on. And if there are any icons that you don't recognize, what you can simply do is you can hover over it, and it will tell you what it does. For example, over here, this one says remove format. So it will remove any formatting that your text has. So now let's give our web page a heading. I'm going to call it ITS Training Services. So So as you can see, this appears in normal font, and we want this to be a heading. So what I will do is I will go and click on this drop down over here, and then I'll click on heading 2. Since our title is of heading 1, any heading under that should be of heading 2 or heading 3 and heading 4 and so on in that order. This is again accessibility requirements, so we need to be in compliant with those. Now let's go ahead and add text to our web page. If you have your text in a document somewhere, you can simply copy paste it, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna simply copy this text from here from my notepad, which I already have written earlier, and I'm gonna paste it. You can simply do Control C to copy and then Control V to paste over here, or you can even right click and paste it from there. So now that we have added our text over here, now let's add a link. So over here our text says find out more about workshops from the link here, and I want this word to be a link, so I'm going to highlight it, and then from the toolbar here I'm going to click on this button right here which says link. You can even use the shortcut Ctrl plus K, and this is the window that pops up. And few things to keep in mind when you are adding a link. That is, if let's say you're adding a link that already exists on the CalStateLA webpage, you don't have to type in the whole URL. You can continue with the forward slash and then type in the remaining URL after the CalStateLA edu. So there already exists a page called workshops, that is www.calstatela.edu/workshops. So I don't have to type the whole URL since it already is on CalStateLA's website. I'm just going to type workshops, and it should do the job. But let's say if you are using a web page that is not a part of CalStateLA's website, for that you will have to add in the whole URL, including the HTTPS forward slash. So let's go ahead and save this. And once you scroll down, you have an option to save it. And since this is a publisher account, from the save as options, I can directly publish it as well. If you are an editor, you will only have the option to save it as draft. Since this is a publisher account again, I can publish it from here as well. So I'm just going to save it as draft for now. And let's look at how our page looks like. So here is the title that we had given. It also appears in the URL over here. And here is the heading and the text and the link. Let's click on the link and see if it works or not. And it does. So I'm just going to go back from here, and you can edit it right from here. You can delete this page also, and you can check the revisions. And one thing that you might be noticing is the pink background. So this is one way to distinguish between if this page is live currently or if it is still a draft. You can at a glance see and tell if this was published or not. So since this is pink, we can clearly say that this is a draft. So in order for me to go back and edit it, I would simply click on the edit button, and I can make changes to our text or our page from right here. If you want to add more text, delete more text, remove the link, and so on. Let's actually go ahead and highlight this and remove the link, and there is that. Next, we have our design blocks section. So before we go and do the hands-on, let's learn a bit about design blocks. I'm jumping back to our presentation, and let's see what design blocks are. So design blocks are self-contained sections of content that can be placed in regions of a website's layout. They are used to display information such as FAQs, cards, or other elements on a web page, and can be easily customized and managed through the design blocks tab on the page editor. Design blocks can differ for different content types, and you can find out more about design blocks and see examples by visiting calstatela.edu/demo webpage. Let's actually go ahead and see a few examples. So this is the page that opens up. I'm going to close this one. Yeah, this is the page that opens up, and based on the content type that you're creating, for example, you're creating a landing page, you will have all the design blocks that you can use over here in this content type. For example, this is an accordion design block. This has drop down menus, and once you click on it, it reveals content within them. And we have accordion with side image. So we have an image here. We have accordion type menus. Once you click on it, it displays content. Just like that, we have buttons with icons, cards, columns, content, CTL links, and so on. Since we're creating a page, I will click on the page button here. And then here we'll be able to see all the design blocks that we can add to our page. So let's go ahead and add a design block. So the first thing that you notice is the drop down menu over here for design blocks. Once you click on it, you have all the different options to choose from. Let's click on add image with site text. And then in order for us to see how this looks like, image with site text, I would go back to the demo page and scroll down and find image with site text design block. So here it is. So this section is what we are adding to our web page. This is a design block with a heading, subheading, text, call to action button, and the image on the left. So you don't have to code anything for this. You can simply add in your own content right here. So let's jump back to our editor, and then let's start with adding content. So the first field that we see is a description. So this is just for you. This won't be displayed on the web page. For example, let's say 3 or 4 people are working on the same web page, and in order for you to see what design block this is, you can simply give it a description. I'm just gonna give it a description called ITS Training Labs. And under here we have 2 options. So I'm going to click on content. This is where we are going to make changes to the content. And then here we have settings. So I'm going to click on content first. The first field that we see is section heading. So this will be the main heading. I'm going to call it ITS Training Labs. And then it gives us an option to select our image. And as you can see, it gives us a recommended image size as well. For example, if you have someone who creates the media for you, for like a graphic designer, you can give them these dimensions so that they can create an image with these particular dimensions, and it will fit right in your design block. So I'm going to first click on select media right here. And then once you click on that button, this is the window that pops up. And from over here, you can see all the different folders that there are. These are actually different groups, and it is not suggested to use any media from different groups. So since we are added to Drupal training group, and I'm making changes to that one, I'm only going to access that one. And if I were to, let's say, access any other media, I may also receive an email from the administrator saying not to do so. So it's advisable to only use media that you have uploaded in your own group. I'm going to click on Drupal training, and I'm going to look for the image that we had just uploaded. So here is our image, and I'm going to click on select media. And we can see the image right here. From here, you can simply remove it or replace the image with a new one. And once you scroll down, we have another field called heading. Don't be confused. This is the subheading, and if at any time if you have a doubt, you can simply refer back to the demo page. Let's actually see what this heading refers to. So this is the heading that it is asking us for. So I would go back and give it a heading. Here I'm going to call it location of training labs. And this will be of heading size 3, H3, since again we have already used the heading H2 and any heading under that should be of heading 3 or heading 4 and so on. And then we have a text box over here. I'm just gonna simply copy and paste some text that I already have. I'm gonna click on Control C to copy it, and then over here I'm gonna click on Control V from my keyboard, and we've pasted the text. And under here we have a call to action button. This is the button that you can add, but since it is not mandatory, it's not a required field like this one, I can simply ignore it. Or let's say if you wanna add a link to your design block, you will have to add in the URL over here and the text that appears on the button here. So I'm just gonna leave this for now, and then I'm gonna save it in order for me to see. Oh, before that, let's explore the settings section as well. So from here you can add an anchor, and you can change the location of your image and different style if you want to use for your call to action button, and you can change the padding. So basically, if you want to add an anchor, you will have to give it a name first, and then you have to call it from the text by using the link tab. So an anchor basically is, let's say you want to link a section of a page to a text. Let's say if you click on the link and it will scroll all the way down to this section, you can do so by using the anchor option over here. So let's give it a name first. I'm going to call it anchor 1, and then I'm going to click on save, and we should be able to see our design block over here. Let's actually link our anchor since we only give it a name, and let's actually call give it a reference and then call our anchor. Let's see how to do that. I'm going to click on edit. Under main content here, if I want to use this button right here, this text right here to be an anchor, I will just highlight it, and I'm going to click on the link icon from the toolbar. And since we gave the name as anchor 1, I will first type the pound icon, and then I'm gonna write the anchor name, which is anchor 1. And once I save it, the link should appear right here. Let's actually go ahead and publish it. I'm gonna click on save. And the first thing that you notice is that we don't have the pink background that we had earlier, which tells you that this page is now live. And we have our design block here, we have our image, we have our subheading, we have our text, and let's see if our anchor works. So I'm gonna scroll here and click on this, and as you can see, it automatically scrolls us down to this section of our web page, which is where we had given the anchor. So this is how anchor works. Let's quickly jump back to our edit section. And one last thing that is left is the right sidebar. Let's say if you want to add a right sidebar on your web page, and add in, let's say you want to add in staff details or number of people in your department and so on, you can do so by adding a right sidebar by clicking on the add content button, and under content you can write your own content, but we don't encourage people from using a right sidebar since, example, if someone is using the web page on their mobile device, they may not be able to see the whole content on their small screen. So, and just to be, just to have the same design flow as the other CalStateLA pages, we don't generally use the right sidebar. And now I'm just gonna click on save, and this is okay. Before I do that, let me delete this since this was empty. And then this is our web page. I had also created a web page earlier uh, for this purpose of this workshop. Let's actually view that. It has two design blocks. Let me open that. I named it ITS Training Demo. So I'm going to open this one, and this was what I had created earlier. We have our design block with the image and text. We have another design block called accordion with drop-down menus, and once you click on it, it reveals content. And we also have our anchor right here. So this was an example. Let's quickly go back to our presentation now. So this is an example. So key takeaways. Um, we learned about what Drupal is, different key terminologies, the different user roles that we have. We talked about accessibility requirements. We also talked about design blocks. And in the hands-on section, we covered logging in an interface, different content types that we have. We also created a page. We added media. We also created a design block. We know how to save a web page as draft. We know how to publish draft and removing content. This is something that we have not done it yet. So let me show you how to remove content. I'm going to jump back to our editor. So this was the page. So the page that you created, you can simply delete it from this toolbar here, and it'll ask you to confirm your action. You can click on delete. I'm just going to click on cancel for now, because there is another way you can delete your page. So once you go to your view profile page and the notes section, you have option to delete it from here as well. So if you click on delete node, it will be deleted. And then it'll ask you to confirm it, and you can delete it. But for example, if you don't want to delete it, you just want to archive it, how can you do that? You can simply go to the edit section, and from the drop down over here, you have an option to archive it. But you may notice that it only appears once the page is published. We previously only had draft and published because the page was no longer published, and now since this is published, we have an option to archive it. So one good advantage of archiving a page is that you can always come back to it and make edits and then publish it again, versus when you delete it, you no longer have the option to edit it again. So let's archive this one and save it. And as you can see, we have that pink background again on our page. So this is how you can delete the pages and archive it and remove content. Let's jump back to our presentation. And we finally also learned about removing content as well. And here are a few resources which are very helpful. For example, on this link over here, you can find all the Drupal training resources. Let's actually go ahead and see this website. Let's give it a second for it to load. And here you will find all the information about Drupal support. So there are instructor-led workshops. You can click on this button and find out more about it, and there are how-to guides as well. For example, if you want to know about logging in, logging out, profile pages, events, web forms, how to create them, you have all the information about them here. Let's jump back to our presentation, and then we have our web accessibility resources. Let's click on this and then see the website. From here, you can find out everything about web accessibility and all that MyCalStateLA has to offer. We have things about pop tech, accessibility fonts, and everything. And let's say you have any issues or concerns, or if you want to report something, you can email CalStateLA at accessibility@calstatela.edu, and you can get your issues addressed or know more about accessibility. And then finally, we have our server administrator's email ID, which is www.admin@calstatela.edu. So let's say if you were having any issues with your Drupal account, you can email them and get it resolved. And finally, this brings our video to an end. Thank you so much for watching, and that is all.